Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be in the world. I hope you are having a fantastic Sunday and a great weekend overall. I've had a very relaxing one, which is great. It's been very nice to just kind of not do very much for a change, which is great. So I've been really enjoying that, but I'm looking forward to getting back stuck into work on Monday because I love my job. In fact, I love both my jobs. Both of my jobs are awesome. So I'm a very lucky guy. So I've just updated Universal Control. So I hope you guys can hear me okay because I have had some audio issues throughout the course of the weekend. So hopefully those are all gone away and we have nice, good, crisp and clear audio, which is what I hope we have. We've got 16 people here, which is pretty good considering I forgot entirely to advertise the show. How stupid am I? Yes, I totally forgot. I was too busy watching a documentary and was just like, oh, hang on a minute. I didn't advertise the show. That was stupid. So, so I'm sorry about that, folks. I totally forgot. And so I don't expect that we'll have a massive crowd here today. That said, we have like 20 people here now. So, and everyone's saying that it sounds good. So that's great. That's what I like to hear. New version of Universal Control, which I've been meaning to update for a wee while. And just, with all the other stuff I've had going on the last little while, I just haven't got around to it. But finally did it. Yes, Ken says no more YouTube email notifications. That is correct. They are getting rid of those. Which is a tiny bit annoying. But I'm pretty confident that they're going to replace it with something that is a little bit more efficient, a bit better. So, yes, Kyle has an ear infection. I'm very sorry to hear that, my friend. I hope that clears up soon. Sinus infection, sorry. Yeah, I hope that clears up soon. Those are nasty. Those are really, I've had those. And they are really nasty. So, you have complete solidarity from me and from everybody, all the 20 other people that are here as well. Totally. So I'm glad you're here and thank you for coming and for contributing. That's awesome. So without advertising the show, we've managed to get 20 people here. So we haven't quite broke 50 yet. It'd be really awesome if the next few weeks we could actually break 50 in a show. That'd be something else. That would be totally amazing. That would blow me away. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because the last few weeks we've got well over 30, and already we have 20 without advertising the show. So that gives me some confidence that going forward we might well break that particular barrier, because I know Jonny is regularly breaking that 50 barrier now, which is awesome for him. So let's see who we got. Just Bob was first in the door. Ken Moss, then Tim is here. Mike Neighbor is here. And who else do we have? Mike Johnson is here. Bobby Booth. No show is complete without Bobby. Lowenz is here. Kyle with his sinus infection is here. And Photography Light and Magic is here as well. Mark Holly, hello. Good to see you. And Carlos P is here. He says hi. Hello, Carlos. Hope you're doing well, mate. And Kingston Dread has just walked in. He says, what's going on with Studio 1% sign and the latency in plugins and faders, etc. We'll talk about some of these things in just a wee while. I presume by Studio 1% you meant Studio 1.5. Old School is here as well, and David SJ is here. Excellent. Mike says, kids want strawberry shortcake and so do I. I'll be around, but I want cake. Yeah, I don't blame you. You know, cake is good. Strawberry shortcake, not on my list of cake at all. But absolutely, if it is something like chocolate or death by chocolate, I will eat it. Absolutely. Because that's the kind of guy I am. David is here. Sorry, not David. Daniel. I misread your name. Daniel is here as well. Daniel Dees? Not quite sure how to see your last name. I probably butchered it. I do that occasionally. But he has a big thumbs up, so thumbs up to you too. Let's just say Kingston is here. He says, excuse the typos. Yeah, no problem. You should see half of my support tickets that responses to support tickets. I type them all out, then I have to go and edit them for typos, and then I hit send. Tim says, hope you bring enough for the whole class. It's funny that you think this is a class. It's funny, I really don't see this Sunday Night Live show as a class. I see this as just an opportunity for me to interact with you, my subscribers, and to answer your questions. That's kind of what Sunday Night Live exists for, really. And, you know, occasionally I might teach you something as well, or demonstrate something in Studio One, or, you know, we talk about music theory, we talk about harmony, we talk about songwriting, we talk about arranging. You know, we've covered a broad range of subjects in the past, and hopefully going forward, we will continue to cover a whole bunch of music production and music making subjects. And I would really like it if there were subjects that you guys would choose, so that we make sure that we're covering the stuff that you guys want to cover, and the things that you're interested in, and you know, the things that you want to know about, and you know, questions that you want answered. You know, because actually, you know, for as much fun as I have doing this, this is about you guys. It's your show. Kyle says YouTube running well, not audio and video not synced. That's a shame. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that, but what I recommend you do is you know, just kind of drop out and then come back in and see if that addresses it. It may well be a YouTube thing. I am looking over at my OBS and it all looks pretty much in sync to me. If I scratch up here, yep. Yeah, that all looks good to me over there. So, and I'm now watching the replay on Skype and it looks pretty good. Splash Top is asking me to update. I can do that another time. So it might be local to Kyle. Yeah. Okay. So Kingston has the first question and he says, what's going on with Studio One 5 and the latency in plugins and faders, etc.? There are some issues with some third-party plugins. And there are some issues with certain Mac computers and certain versions of Mac OS and certain configurations of computers. Some that we know about and some which are kind of just beginning to be discovered, shall we say. But most of the issues are to do with third-party plugins, and third-party plugins perhaps not having been updated for Metal or updated for the latest C++ runtime environment for Windows as well. We're seeing that a few times. So some of these we know about, and a lot of those issues got addressed in the 5.0.1 maintenance release that was put out just a few days ago. So yeah, we know about some of those issues, and my friend Dave Vignola put out a video showing some of the issues that he's having with Slate Trigger. And with SonarWorks, these the reference thing. I forget what that's called. But anyway, he put out this video about those, and those are known issues with third-party plugins, and really it's on those manufacturers to address those issues, because Presonus has no access to the codes for those plugins. So they are going to have to deal with their stuff rather than us, because, as I say, Presonus can't do anything about it because we cannot access third-party plugin code bases. It's on the plugin manufacturers to deal with that. Bobby Booth says, no cake here except some little bald-headed guy on my computer screen. Yeah, thanks a lot, Bobby. Appreciate that. Kingston said, also my controller works fine, but won't input notes. I have 32 gigs of RAM, and it's an i7 Windows machine. Bobby says, trigger works okay on my system. Well, that's the thing. We're discovering that this is probably corner case issues that only a few certain people with certain specific configurations are having the issue, because I know a lot of Mac guys, and I have, just this weekend been talking to a lot of Mac users, because I wanted to kind of get to the bottom of this a little bit and see if I could find if, there is a systemic issue or what. And, a lot of the Mac people that I have spoken to are saying, hey, no, these things work fine. They work fine for me on my computer. So I think this is probably a corner case that is affecting just a handful or a small collection of users on very specific Mac OS versions, and maybe their plugins haven't been updated, I think is probably the most likely outcome. So for a lot of you that are maybe experiencing some of those lags and, just moving the plugin GUI around on the screen is a little bit laggy. If you're having that, then maybe the first protocol is update your Mac OS. Second protocol might be to contact the plugin manufacturers and say, hey, you need to update your stuff so that it runs on Studio 1.5 and also on the latest frameworks. And then from then, you're just going to have to play that waiting game and wait for those things to be addressed by the manufacturers. So it is a Mac problem. I'm not really seeing any issues with this with Windows at all. So it's pretty much, I think, a Mac-only issue. And I think, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm fairly confident that it is probably users that are running Mojave. If you're running Mojave, then it could well be that that's where the issue lies, that these plugins and Studio 1.5 don't work together on Mojave. So I guess we'll kind of have to wait and see how that unfolds. John Lake is here, sneaking in late. Hello, John. You have been noticed. Marking you down on the register as late. Mike says, so glad I stopped using all those crazy third-party VSTs. Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, I don't use Slate stuff anymore. And the reason why I don't use Slate stuff anymore is because I cannot count upon it. I cannot rely upon those plugins to always work on successive updates, either of my OS or successive updates of Studio One. So that's been kind of my issue with Slate, and I ended up just canceling it altogether. And I had like an annual subscription to the Slate Everything bundle, and I've canceled that after like 18 months. And it was 18 months of continuous problems, to be honest. So David says, I'm wondering if it's specific to certain graphics configurations. Seems to be something in the video buffers. Yeah, I think you might be right there. That is a very viable possibility, I think. But yeah, it seems to be just a small corner case at the moment, which is good. Not good for Dave because he has to roll back to 4.6, which, you know, it's a good thing. I mean, hey, it's not going to stop him from working. You know, it just means he's not really going to be able to use Studio One 5.0.1 for right now until he can make those necessarily changes. Any issue with SoftTube Console 1? Not that I have seen as yet. And for those that have had any issues with SoftTube Console 1, usually the solution has been for you to uninstall and then go to your SoftTube account and download the most updated version of Console 1 to your computer, and usually that addresses it. Most times that addresses it. There are some times when it doesn't, but for the most part, the folks that I have dealt with that have had Console 1 not working very well in Studio One 5, that's been the solution. Uninstall, go to your SoftTube account, download the most up-to-date version of it, and hey presto, it should work. That should address it. Let's see. Mike says, I only really use like 4 Plugin Alliance ones, channel strips mostly. Yes, yeah. I use Plugin Alliance stuff mostly exclusively nowadays. I use the native Studio One, Personas plugins, and I also use Plugin Alliance. Although I have just picked up a couple of SoundToys plugins that I'm really quite excited to get using. And I got those just very, very recently with those. So yeah, big thank you to the guys over at SoundToys. They are fantastic. We've been talking to them recently. And that's how I managed to get these plugins. So I'm really excited about that. Let's see. Native Instrument stuff works. Synthmaster, Tal, no issues. Good. Good, because there were some issues with the Synthmaster plugin that is part of the Studio Magic bundle. There were some issues with that. I think those are all resolved now. Let's see. I'm trying to find a question. Oh yeah, Old School says, difference between Prime and Artist versions of Studio One 5, please. The difference essentially is no third-party plugins and no third-party VSTs in the Prime version. And no core track. What else isn't there? Oh yes. Doesn't matter what sound card you have. Even if you have something like the Studio 1824, you will only get 2 inputs. Because that is one of the input limitations. So you can record as many channels of audio as you like, but you only get 2 inputs on the interface. The only VST that you get from Personas is presence. You don't get anything else. So yeah, there are some relatively large differences. Artist now does include VST, AU, and rewire support. You know, in times past in Studio One 4, you had to purchase an add-on, which you no longer have to do for Studio One 5. So that is exciting for artist users. And it's actually reasonably priced now to go and pick up Artist. If you are a Prime user, it's dead easy for you to go and get that. Let's see. David says, talking to Tim, he says, the Plugin Alliance stuff is great, but not as comprehensive as the Slate bundle. You may find something's lacking if you drop one for the other. Yeah, I have not had that issue. I mean, the main reason why I invested in the Slate bundle was for those channel strips. Well, guess what? The guys at Plugin Alliance do even better versions of those channel strips. So, and they are, the channel strips are also better than the Waves versions as well. And they're much more reliable. And there's no iLock to deal with, which is good. Let's see. Tax write-offs for all these subscriptions. Well, yeah, there is that too, Tim. Yep. Photography Line Magic says, maybe all these plugins have a virus that's infecting everything these days. I think it's called Corona. Yeah, don't think so. Mike says, I have the full paid version of Synth Master. I don't use the free stuff. Okay, fair enough. E. Hall is here. Hello. Good to see you. Are you running Catalina on my Mac? Yes, I am. My Mac over here is running Catalina. In fact, it came with Catalina preloaded, and I think I've updated it like once to a maintenance update that they put out for Catalina, and that's been pretty much it. Bobby Booth says, been trying out some of Black Rooster plugins. Never heard of them, actually. That's interesting. I have no idea who they are. So, we kind of peaked at 34, and we've lost a few folk, which is a bit of a shame. Let's see. But yes, I'm here for your questions, guys. David says, Mike says to David, what do you think is missing from Plugin Alliance over Slate? Good question. I think actually they're both really, really good. And especially now that the Plugin Alliance guys now do not just one bundle, which is what Slate does. It's like Slate everything, and that's it. He does like several different types of bundles that are going to appeal to different user groups. I think that's really well thought out. And they're at different price points as well. Like, I could get the whole, Plugin Alliance version of the Everything bundle. And I could get that, but really, I don't think I'm going to use all of those plugins. And so, for me personally, I don't think that's going to be a good investment, because I'm not going to use the whole bundle. I'm probably rarely ever going to use the whole bundle. So there's not really any point in having all of those plugins. However, there is a bundle that they do, which has, I think it only has like 50 or 60 plugins. And that's probably I'm not currently in one of those bundles, but I'm gonna be decided to go for it. So I'm gonna be probably next weekend. I'm gonna go do that and invest in that particular bundle. Tim says the Plugin Alliance everything is $250 a year. It is, yeah, that's right. But yeah, I'm gonna get one of those smaller bundles because I don't really need it. I don't really need the whole thing, really. Apparently, according to David S.J., Dave Vignola did a live mixing series with Black Rooster plugins. Not impressive. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that yet. Acoustica Audio make really good stuff. I have none of their plugins, but I know people that do. And they can be a little bit hit and miss depending upon your system, from what I can gather from people that I've spoken to about those. Just Bob says, did you ask me to email you after last Sunday's show? Been working tons overtime, haven't been able to go back and rewatch. I don't remember. So for both of our sakes, it might be a good idea to go rewatch. Yeah, because I don't think I can remember whether I asked you to do that or not. Sorry about that. Let's see. Kingston says the plugin alliance bundle I use has 110 plugins. Wow. Okay. Alrighty. Now, some of you may have seen that I publicly posted that I have an Atom SQ. I've had the Atom SQ for a little while, and I've been playing with it. I've been checking it out, seeing what it's like, and you know what? It's really, really good. I cannot compare it to the original Atom because I didn't get one of those, but I have got the SQ, and to be honest, looking at my table space, I don't think I have any space for the original Atom. I don't think. I might have to move a few things around, but I certainly think I might have run out of USB ports anyway. But the Atom SQ is really, really good, especially when you run it on the correct version of Universal Control, which is the mistake I made the first time. If you're running it with the wrong version of Universal Control, Studio One 5 will freeze, and you will have to go to Task Manager and end the task, because it just totally makes it not respond. But as soon as I started running it on the correct version of Universal Control, it works out really well. And I love the fact that the poly pressure works really well. And I've been trying that out in particular on Mai Tai. Found that Mai Tai works really, really great on those kind of things. Let me see if I can find that sound that I was piddling about with the other day. It's just like hours and hours and hours of fun. But and I have literally just sat and just fiddled with it for ages and explored some of the cool funky settings that are on it. It's really great fun. So if you guys are able to get your hands on one when it starts shipping, get your hands on one. Pre-order one. I would absolutely, wholeheartedly recommend getting one. I love it. And you know what? I didn't think it would be my kind of thing because I'm not really a beat maker. I don't really do that kind of thing. But as soon as I started trying it out, I thought, wow, this thing is just extraordinary. It's just amazing what it can do. The fact that it converts itself from a kind of a drum thing into a piano thing by blanking out some of the pads, and it arranges itself into like a piano keyboard. It's very, very cool. So much fun. Let's see. You guys are still kind of talking about plugins. Carlos says Atom SQ is teasing me lately. Yes, yeah, I can totally understand that. It's going to be out very soon. So, and I think you can actually pre-order it from your nearest PreSonus dealer. Pretty sure you can pre-order them now. Channel strip Lyle Lindell. Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys are still kind of talking about Plugin Alliance. Their plugins are awesome. I love their plugins. David says, don't get me wrong, I own over 40 Plugin Alliance plugins, but I can't see myself solely relying upon them. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Really, as far as I'm concerned, use the tools that get the job done for you and that you like the sound of. Now, for a lot of people, that's going to be Slate Digital stuff. I know in Dave's case, his whole mixing philosophy is built around Slate Digital and Universal Audio products. That's kind of his whole system is built around that. Whereas mine isn't. Mine's actually pretty darn flexible. You know, I mean, this has been the story of my life as a musician. I pick instruments that sound good to me and that I enjoy the sound of. You know, a lot of drummers, they will pick a particular brand of cymbal and they purchase every type of cymbal that they require from that particular brand. So, you know, everybody might have an entire set of Sabians, an entire set of Zildjians or Paiste or whatever. I've never really done that. I have a pair of Meinl hi-hats. I have a very old 1940s original K Zildjian ride cymbal. I have some Zildjian crashes, and I have a couple of Sabian crashes, and I even have a Paiste 21-inch crash. Yeah, it's a crash ride, and it just has a really nice complementary tone to my really old K Zildjian, and I just love it. And I love the way that these different sounds, these different brands, these different alloys of cymbal all complement each other, and they're from different brands. And so, you know, I have a drum set that sounds like me because those are the sounds I like. In fact, my drum set is a mishmash, I suppose. I mean, I've got them all kind of lacquered so that they look the same, but you know, my kick drum is a maple kick drum and my toms are birch. And my snare drum is a Tamil ash snare drum. So I have like completely different drums and completely different cymbals. And it's just, you know, what I like. I like the sound of these things. I like the sound of my maple kick drum. And I don't really like a birch kick drum. I like a maple one. I like the maple for the warmth. And I like the birch for that sense of roundness and authority you get from birch toms. And so that's just me as a drummer, you know, playing drums for, you know, over 40 years. And, you know, the same for, you know, saxophones. My wife has a Selmer Mark 6 alto, which is kind of like your traditional kind of Charlie Parker alto. I like it. I like it very much. I would quite like, because I've tried a couple, I would quite like to get a Yanagisawa alto to complement it. Different tone, different sound. You know, so I try different instruments and I just go with what I like. I'm not a brand kind of person. So there you go. So I'm kind of with you on the whole thing of I don't rely on Plugin Alliance plugins. You know, I go with what is going to get the job done for the artists I'm working with. And in some cases that'll be Slate Digital. Some cases that'll be Plugin Alliance. Some cases I'll just use entirely in the box native Studio One plugins. And that's what I'll use. And also I like to be able to get to my plugins really quickly. I don't see the point of having like 800 or more plugins, because it means like, great, I want to compress my drums. I want to compress my drum bass. And so you go looking for a compressor and you could be searching through loads and loads and loads and loads of compressors. And, you know, that might take 30, 40, 50, 60 seconds maybe to find the compressor you want. Whereas, you know, I kind of like, I have an instinct as to what I'm going to do on a particular drum bus. I might go, great, that API compressor is going to be perfect for it. Pajong, there it is. There it is, on it, compressed. Job done. Or I might use the DC, what's it called? The DC, hang on, I have to go and look and try and remind myself what it's called, because it's a Klanghelm compressor. The DC1A3 is what it's called, which is an awesome little compressor. And it's so powerful. It has 2 knobs, and that's kind of largely it, but it is so powerful. The 2 Klanghelm compressors I'm most impressed with is the MJUC and the DC1A3. They are fantastic compressors. They sound pretty different, but they are awesome. Especially the MJUC, because that's effectively 3 compressors in one unit, and each one of them sounds quite considerably different, and you know they will compress in different ways. But it's really, really cool. And then my other favorite compressor, and this is particularly for vocals, is the Brainworks Opto compressor. I use that a lot, and oftentimes in combination with the Fat Channel 1176. So I use those 2 compressors together in kind of tandem, and they sound really, really great together, which is a partnership I never really kind of thought of until I just did it one day, and just like, wow, made those vocals totally come alive in a really unique and really pleasing way. So yeah, so if you've never used Klanghelm plugins before, a lot of people will be familiar now with the MJUC because it gets such a lot of good, good press. It really does. I mean, people like my good friend Warren Hewitt, he uses it a lot and he loves it. But yeah, the DC138, I'll get it right in a minute. The DC1A3 is an awesome little guy all of its own, and it's free as well, which is even better. The MJUC is only like €24, and the DC1A3 is free. And it's fantastic for a free little compressor. You can't go wrong. Definitely worth getting your hands on. Let's see. What have I been missing? Must have been just talking. Tim says, also Studio One has some emulation of these sound with the Fat Channel collection. Yeah, definitely. And actually, they're pretty darn good. You know, the LA2A style and the 1176 style compressors, they're really good. And the EQs as well, they are fantastic. They're actually really, really good compared to the actual hardware units. They sound really quite good, actually. Let's see. David says the DC1A3 is the baby version of the DC8C, which is a very complex compressor. Yeah, it is. I've had a look at that. And kind of decided not to get it. I mean, I can see the use case for it, but yeah, I decided not to get it really. But yeah, I love the DC1A3. It sounds fantastic. It's actually a really good parallel compressor. I've used it on drums for parallel compression. I've used it on, I parallel compress most things, to be really honest. But yeah, on bass guitar and on drums, the DC1A3 sounds epic as a parallel bus compressor. Really, really cool. Mike says, dropped all of my Waves plugins due to their completely outdated and crap update policy. Yeah, you know what? I am completely in agreement with you there. Their update plan, it sucks. Sorry, Waves, but, making people pay to update plugins that they already own. Not sure that's a good policy, particularly. Yeah. Not a big fan of. I used to use Waves plugins an awful lot back, 20 years ago. I used to use them a lot, but and was actually quite the fan of theirs. Would preach, hey, go and get Waves plugins. If you want to get into third-party plugins, get Waves. Waves are the thing, and I really don't do that anymore. I'll be very, very honest. Waves sound my taste. Need to own 200 plugins that I probably never use. Yeah, I'm with you there too. I got rid of them all. I uninstalled them all, is what I did. There's only one Waves plugin that I still have, and that's the True Verb. And that little guy's really good. It's a really nice reverb, and that's the only reason why I still have it. It's a really good reverb. But it is a Waves 10 plugin, and eventually it will probably need updated, and when that happens, it will go bye-bye. I will not update it. It will go bye. I don't need it. David says, I'm waiting for a response from a client. I'm waiting for a response from a client. I sent a client mix I sent a few hours ago. The suspense is killing me. Yeah. It's the bane of our existence, is waiting for a client to get back to us, especially when we think we've absolutely nailed it. One of my pet peeves is when you absolutely nail the mix. You love the mix. You think it's awesome. You think you've got it. And you think the client will not come back to you with any revision requests because you have absolutely smashed it out of the park. And you think, yes, done it. And then, you get a notification that there is an email in your inbox, and you go look in your inbox, and it's from your client, and they have some mixed revisions, and you're just like, oh. Why? Yeah, I've been there. Done that. And you just have to kind of smile and say, yes, of course, I will take care of those for you. Not a problem. When inwardly you might be, kind of, I nailed it, damn it. For sure. All right, so we got about 15 minutes to go. And I have some phlegm that I need to deal with by swigging some now decidedly cold tea. So there we go. Anyone got any other questions or any issues that you might be experiencing in Studio One 5? Please let me know right now, and we can certainly take a look at some stuff. Be happy to do that. Otherwise, we'll finish early. If you guys don't have any questions, we've got 30 people here. We kind of have peaked around about 34-ish. I think that was our high point, 34, which is cool. And that was the tutorial notification. I forgot to switch off my notifications. I'm a naughty boy. Notifications. Where are you? Oh, off. There we go. How is Kevin? Kevin is good. Kevin is right here. He keeps me on track. Yeah, he sits here on top of my 1824 and he keeps me on track. He makes sure that I don't go completely bonkers. And next to him is this guy whose head lights up when he has a bright idea. It's the plug-in talk hour. I didn't intend that to happen. That's you lot. It's your fault. No, I'm kidding. It's always good to talk about stuff like the tools of our trade and what we use and why we use them, and our experiences with particular brands, particular manufacturers. I think that's a good thing to talk about. Absolutely, for sure. You know, I use whatever gets the job done. I'm not really loyal to any particular brand whatsoever. Will the new Atom work with older versions? Some people haven't done upgrades in several chats. By that question, do you mean can you use both atoms? Yes, you can. If that's what you mean, then yes, you can. You can certainly have the square atom and the atom SQ, and you can play them both at the same time because they're different devices. So you can certainly do that if that's what you mean. But if you're referring to can you use the atom, the new atom, the atom SQ, with old versions of Universal Control, the answer is no. It will freeze Studio One. It absolutely will. Because it's designed to run on Universal Control 3.3. Which is the latest version. And I thought I had updated, but clearly I had not. Because when I first plugged it in, it was just like, freeze. I was like, that's a bit odd. And then I went and looked at what version my Universal Control was at, and it was like 3.2. I was like, oh, okay. I'm a long way behind. So there you go. 3.3 is what it works on. Ken says, 2 of my expansions say they are not installed, but when I install them, I get a message that they are installed already. Persona Studio Grand and Acoustic Drum Loops 2. Okay, Ken, you are a Persona Sphere member, I believe. And that you are a Persona Sphere member means that you have those in your account, in your Persona Sphere account. And what you will need to do is make sure that Studio One is activated with Persona Sphere. And when you do that, all of those other Studio One add-ons will work in Studio One 5 Professional when it is activated with Persona Sphere. We get a lot of people creating support tickets on that issue. And it's mostly that they just don't understand that you need to have Studio One activated with Persona Sphere, not just kind of like your regular license. It has to be activated with Persona Sphere if you're a Persona Sphere member, and then all of that stuff will just work. You might get an error message that says, you are not the owner of this product. And if it says something along those lines, then you go, aha, I need to go to Studio One activation, and then check the answer. Check the answer? It's not an examination. Check the option, activate with Persona Sphere, then hit the activate button. And then it should absolutely work. And you should be fine. Okay, you are going bye-bye. Good. Just Bob says that answers my question. We have an idiot in the chat today. That idiot has gone bye-bye. If you want to be an idiot, and if you want to be a smart aleck, and if you want to say stupid things in my chat, you get booted. And if you think you're being funny, you really aren't. So there you go. Mike says, I'm not really good at communicating with people. Yeah, neither am I particularly. It is something I have to work very, very hard at. And to you guys, it looks like you're probably going, no. He's happily chanting away to us on camera. And, it looks like he has great communication skills. Absolutely wrong. You have no idea how much energy it takes for me to do this show every week. It takes a lot out of me because I am naturally not a good communicator. I really am not. Some of you may be aware, I don't really talk about this in public a great deal, but I am actually autistic, and the nature of autism for me means that I don't do very well at communicating with people. I don't do very well in crowds. I definitely don't do very well in crowds at all. Crowds are not good for me. Yeah, and parties, that kind of thing, I don't do great at. But and so my way of overcoming those things is to face them head on, and that's one of the reasons why I do this show, because it helps me develop those skills. It helps me overcome, helps me combat that. Otherwise, I would sit in this room on my own all day, all night, forever, and never venture out of my room and never talk to anybody else. And I would be totally happy with that. I really would be totally happy with that kind of existence. But I'm aware that it is not a healthy existence. So that is why, I do this show, and that is why I go and, when people invite me to parties, I go, I attend, and I give it my all. And I work hard at communicating with people. But then when I get home, I have to sleep for 3 days. And it's not to do with I've gone and got hammered at the party, because I don't drink. So it's not that. It's just that's the amount of energy it takes for me to interact with people. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of practice. And it's something I've had to keep drilling away at in order to get good at it. And I'm not good at it yet, but I'm getting there. So, yeah, so there you go. You guys now know a little bit more about me. Mike Johnson says, I didn't see what they said. Yeah, Mike Neighbor, drummer Mike, was right on it, super fast, and he deleted his comments. And then I booted him. So hopefully he'll not come back. He's basically put in timeout, but if he comes back, we will just get rid of him again. It's easy enough to do. David says, I deal with the public all day at my day job. And when I got home, I don't want to talk to anyone. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I really do. Bobby says, being on a live stream is one thing, but being in a crowd is totally different. Yes, absolutely. They are very, very different. I mean, here, the good thing about this show is I'm talking to a camera, but I know that behind the camera are all you guys. And so, there is this sense to which I'm able to reach out without having to be in a room full of people. I mean, not being great with crowds is not great when your life's ambition has been to be a performing musician, performing in front of large crowds. You know what I mean? So, autism and playing in front of large crowds probably don't necessarily go together. So I developed a lot of coping mechanisms, a lot of strategies for performing with my band. And one of those things is my focus is entirely upon the piano, my charts, the microphone, and my band. And kind of that's it. I don't really talk to the audience that much. I might say a few things at the start and I might say a few things at the end. But for the most part, I don't really engage in banter with the audience. That's just not me at all. That would just be too much. My mother, on the other hand, my mother is a born entertainer. She is a singer. She is a dancer. She's a comedian. And she's a natural at all three. And she has a lot of skill and a lot of talent and a lot of ability to interact with other people in ways that just, they blow me away. and I could just never do any of those things. It's just not something I could do. Let's see. Actions bar, choose to hide this user on this channel option, and they are gone forever. Cool. Where is that idiot? Oh, look, there he is. Yeah, I don't actually have that option. It's put timeout, hide user. Oh, there it is. Hide user on this channel. There it is. Bye. This user's messages will be hidden. Good. There, they are gone. You will never see them again. David says, you want to have fun? Moderate one of Rhett Scholl's live stream concert with over 2,000 people watching. Yes. I can well imagine. Anyway, we are timed out and the audience is dwindling away. We are down to 20 people from the lofty heights of 34. You guys are awesome. I love you guys very much. You are what make doing this show wonderful. You know, I love it. I love doing this show. I love talking to you guys. I love your questions. I love your suggestions for stuff. And I love the fact that you guys talk to each other. You interact with each other. You're all friends. It's great. I love it. You know, it's like we have our own little community here, and that's great. It's fantastic. You guys are the best, and I appreciate you all very, very much. The next time I will be online will be on Wednesday for Songwriting Simplified with Jonny Gibe. Not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but we are going to have a subject. In fact, I think I remember what the subject was that we said that we would do. We're going to talk about consonants and dissonance, because that was a question that came up last week. So we are definitely going to talk about consonants versus dissonance and how to use both in a controlled manner to express your lyrics, to express your music. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday over on Jonny's channel, Home Studio Trainer. And that's kind of at the same time as this show normally is. If you're not a subscriber yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, choose all notifications, and that way you will never miss out on anything I put out. Now, as I've already said, I'm going to get, now my kids are back at school, I'm going to get back into pumping out some more weekly videos. So you will see those coming up over the course of the next few weeks. If you want a video to be made or you have a subject for a video, please email me, johnny@johnnylipshamstudios.co.uk, and I would like to compile a nice list of videos that you guys want me to make on subjects that you want to see covered in Studio One. And I will absolutely do those. So get those suggestions to me. And also, if you have a question that you want addressed on next week's Sunday Night Live, send me an email about that as well. And I will try and feature your questions, particularly if you've got like a particularly big one, like how does this work? Or how do you do this in Studio One? Then, you know, I can make that a featured issue, a featured question for next week's show. And then we can kind of springboard off of that. So, hope you guys like that idea. And I'll see you all. Hang on, I need to go find my button. So I completely forgot to do that. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Good night, everybody.